Hi, my friends. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Allie Wilkins. So if you've been tuning into this whole series, we've been doing 5 days of Infinite Beauty. And this is really, first of all, in celebration of my experience that I've created called Infinite Beauty. And I really wanted to just point out 5 of the different things that I think are so connected to us as women reclaiming our full power. And so we've talked about a few different things. We're on day 5 today. And you'll see, I'll make a little playlist called Infinite Beauty. So if you're just tuning into this one, you can go back and watch the others if you'd like. And of course, all of this is covered in Infinite Beauty in depth. But I wanted to bring this here because even just the surface level of it is like, whoa, how can okay, this is actually really helpful for me to be able to shift into my feminine energy and into my power in a deeper way. So we're on day 5 today. We're going to be talking about deepening into your feminine radiance. And the first thing that I want to talk about with this is that, a lot of us, and we talked about this on day 1 too, a lot of us have started out operating with more masculine energy because we're trained to do that in the Western world to survive. We can't help it. So we're taught how to operate from more of our masculine energy. We haven't really been taught how to operate in our feminine energy because in the past it hasn't been safe. It's been shamed, it's been suppressed, we've been killed for it in other lifetimes, right? So this is kind of the first time the last 20 years, but especially just right now, this is one of the only times in the last 2,500 years that it's actually been safe for us to operate in this capacity with like knowledge that we're not going to be hurt for it, except even in some other countries like in Iran, where all that stuff has been going on about, women wearing makeup or women, this still is like an issue in other places in the world, right? So we just haven't been taught how to operate in our feminine energy. And I think one of the biggest shifts that I've experienced as I've swung wildly from like fully masculine to being fully feminine, and then sort of now I'm kind of in the middle in that space. And that's what happens with a lot of us as we're moving, as we're playing with these different frequencies. What I've noticed is that when we are in our feminine energy, we're not in our heads. We're not in our heads. It's like, I'm an oracle, so I really relate to this, and you might too as well. When we're in our feminine energy, we're not in our heads making up stories. We're not controlling things. We're open vessels. We are channels to channel through energy through us, to move energy through us. We are open. We're not full of assumptions. We're not full of preconceived notions. We are just an open vessel. You could use the word empty, but empty kind of has a weird connotation to it because it's like we're extremely powerful, but our vessel is clear. And I noticed this because I work in the Akashic Records. Like when I first started training in the Akashic Records, I noticed like, shouldn't I be prepared for these meetings? Shouldn't I because you really can't prepare for them. You just go in and then you're an open channel and spirit guides you when you're live with someone. If you've ever done a masterclass with me, you know that I don't, and most of my master classes, I offer Akashic journeys at the end after the teaching. And I never planned for them. I never have any idea what we're going to be doing. And it's like, I'm just an open vessel. And as soon as I open that space, the divine comes through and shows me exactly what it is. And it's never something that I could have planned. It's like 1,000 times better than what I would have come up with in my masculine energy, or even in my own like human feminine frequency. So one of the biggest shifts that I see between our masculine energy and between the feminine is that the feminine is really in her body. She's really in the body. She's not in her head about stuff. So when we're thinking about this in relation to our beauty and our essence, I'm going to bring this into the sexual experience. Okay. So I want you to think about when you're being intimate with someone, in whatever way that means for you. If you are in your head about, oh, is he like feeling my fat right now? Is he judging me? Like, he's for sure not. He is not judging you for that. It's felt when you are in your head about something. And so it's going to be so much more enjoyable for you and for the other person too. This goes both ways, by the way. When you are fully present and open and not stuck up in your head. So when we think about this in relation to our beauty and our essence, and when we think about that scale, I've mentioned the scale a few times in the past couple of days in these videos. The scale over here is maybe someone who's really stuck in the hypercritical nature. That person is fully in their head. They're fully in their head, right? And by the way, I'm not like judging any of these spaces on the scale as being better or worse. It's just like where you are in the journey, and there's no judgment about that. It's just observation and being real with where you're at, because I've for sure been here too. And then as we move further and further along, you're moving more and more and more into your feminine expression and your feminine radiance, magnetism. That's then when we start to talk about words like enchanting, alluring, mesmerizing, luscious, delicious. Like your language even changes as you move deeper into your own feminine essence. But what you are exuding, if you're stuck in your head about something, your energy you're exuding like radiates that. Versus if someone is present in their body and they're not stuck in their head, like that person feels so powerful. And I want you to perhaps think about like, who is the most magnetic person that you have seen, that you know? How is it that they hold themselves? They're probably embodied, right? They're embodied in their radiance. They're embodied in their magnetism. They're embodied in their power, which means that they're not going to be stuck in their head over analyzing things or in judgment. One of the things we talk about too in Infinite Beauty is that our beauty is, okay, let me back up. Lightworkers are gorgeous. Like people who are really committed to exuding love and to clearing their body of negative energy. You will, if you guys already know this, you've probably seen so many people, they're just like, wow, everybody doing this personal work is like gorgeous. Like they just keep getting hotter and hotter. And there's a reason for that. It's because you're starting to radiate more love. You're removing, so for example, like if I'm full of resentment, I am not going to be as pretty. I'm not going to look the same. However, if I've then done a bunch of forgiveness work and I'm holding neutrality, I'm going to look better. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Because the energy you're holding internally, just in general, radiates from you cellularly. So like someone could have the ugliest bone structure. Maybe this isn't the right way to say it, but someone could have the ugliest bone structure and be the most gorgeous human based on their energy. Maybe they're not, and I guarantee you know someone like this who's not like the typical version of what we would call pretty in the Western world, but you're like, that person is a gorgeous human because their energy is radiating something. This is like the whole point of Infinite Beauty, because some people are like, oh, well, she's just naturally beautiful. She might be, but people aren't going to think she's beautiful if she's not exuding that energy. Someone can look beautiful for 1 second, and then when you actually spend time with them, you're like, oh, like, never mind, that person is not beautiful anymore. And they will actually change in front of your eyes. That's not the point of what I'm getting of, like, it's like actually the opposite of what I want to be speaking about here. Like the more love that you can radiate, the more beautiful you will be, period, end of story. But I think what overrides that, how you feel about yourself will always override it. How you feel about yourself, because people can just feel, we just know. We can feel what your true feelings are about yourself, and that impacts a lot. So we've talked a lot about in the last few days, you know, that this obviously deeply impacts how you show up in the world. It impacts how other people see you. It impacts how you feel. It impacts how you show up with your power. But also, it impacts who's going to be around you. What type of people do you want around you? That like this goes so much further. And this is why I'm saying sometimes I think because this is called Infinite Beauty, which I actually didn't want to call it that. And when I received this I didn't actually create it myself. I received it in a meditation. I heard it from Green Tara, who's one of, she's actually not even one of my guides. She just came through and was like, you're going to create this, and this is what it's going to be called. And I fought her on the title. I was like, I don't want to call it that. People are going to think it's like something vain and conceited, and like, who am I to have a program called Infinite Beauty? Like, that feels cocky. And she's like, that's the whole point. You need to change. Beauty goes so much deeper than just this like feeling of vanity. It goes into our power. It's our power structure. So if we are putting so much power in the idea that we're not attractive or that we're not good enough, that radiates into the rest of your power. And so that shit needs to be cleaned up. And what she was really showing me is that the blueprint of beauty has to be cleaned up. We have to plug into something new. And that we're also responsible for this for the next generation, because they have it 1,000 times worse than we did. They're what they are exposed to at such a young age. You guys have seen TikTok videos of 11-year-olds who look like they're 30, right? There's so much there. Like, we are responsible for holding the stewardship of what beauty actually means and how we embody that within ourselves, because the last generation has butchered it. And we were the receptors of that. And so we have to do the work this generation. And I'm talking to you, whatever generation you're in. We have to do the work to clean that up so that our children, so that the future generation doesn't inherit that stuff, because they have a whole different arena that they're playing in that is 1,000 times more corrupted than what ours was. So what I really wanted to just speak to today is deepening into our feminine radiance. And the first part of that is what I was talking about first: opening yourself, clearing yourself. So you could imagine, like, I have this cup of water right here. If this water was, how do I want to say this? This water, imagine it is disgusting. Imagine it is stagnant water. You have to fully, I wish I could pour this out, but I have like papers right here. You have to empty out all of this water. That signifies you unplugging from the matrix, unplugging from the societal perception of beauty, and even from your family programming, from your unique programming around beauty. Pour all the water out. You have to be an empty vessel. There's not even water in it anymore. You have to become an empty vessel so that you are filled. You're available to be filled. That's what feminine energy literally is. It's an open vessel that is available to receive. So when we are not available to receive, when we're full, we're in our masculine energy most of the time. And when I say when you're sort of in your feminine emptiness, sometimes that's what this would be referred to as. It's that you are so open that you are willing to be filled. And you can take that in whatever way you want, right? Feminine radiance is, we have to be this open vessel, but also there's this, I want to just say this in the right way. There's this really delicate, graceful, fierce, sensual energy that you are holding. And if your confidence is not able to hold that, it's like there's going to be static in the air. There's going to be static in the air. So we have to clean up that static. And that's what the work of Infinite Beauty is doing. We're looking at, where is it that I'm uncomfortable holding my feminine energy? And there's good reason for us to feel uncomfortable. We haven't been taught how to use it. It's been suppressed for 2,500 years. People have been shamed and killed over and over and over again over the last 2,500 years for expressing that. And not to mention, if you have religious programming, like, there's so much, especially, I'm not going to go into that. There's so much religious programming also around how we can share our sexual energy, how we express ourselves, depending on like your family's orientation around that. It can be a wide range, right? So we have all these ideas about what is safe and what's not. And also we just haven't learned how to use it. So Infinite Beauty sort of acts as the clearer of that static energy that shows you, okay, what is it exactly that I'm afraid of? What is it exactly that I'm uncomfortable with? And where do I feel called to lean into that? And then once you lean into that part, you're like, oh, this is actually fucking awesome. I love this. This is great. Now I'm ready to lean into the next portion of it. Now I'm ready to lean into the next portion. Before you know it, like 3 years ago is when I created this. I am wildly different. I hold so much more sensual energy now. I'm able to express myself like in so many different ways in my deeper radiance and in openness. Whereas before, I was so uncomfortable with that. And you can go back to the first video if you haven't watched it about like judging feminine expression. I was so uncomfortable holding that energy myself. And I've been training through the practice of infinite beauty. I'm wildly different. And so many of the people who have gone through this practice have told me the same thing. And like, I'll be honest, I created this. So I didn't create it. Green Tara gave it to me, but it was for me. It wasn't my intention initially to share it. I shared it after I did it because I was like, whoa, this is really powerful. And I was like, let me just see if other people have this same experience. I'll sell it once and then see, you know, how it goes. Everybody loved it so much. And I was like, I have to keep offering this every year. And so a lot of people have done this multiple times and they say the exact same thing that I just said, that this deepens over time. And you're integrating it like you've forgotten that you've even done the ceremony, but it's sinking into your cells. It's like simmering in your cells, and in form, it's just like doing work under the surface that you're mentally not even conscious of. And it's like melting some of the behavioral patterns or some of the belief systems and the programming way longer after you're doing the ceremony. So needless to say, this is extremely powerful. This is the work of the goddess 100%. And it's going to touch you in that way if you let it. So the ceremony, like, where do I want to go from here? We'll just talk about infinite beauty. So this is the last day of the 5 days of infinite beauty. This is a powerful experience that if you've watched all these 5 days, like, go join Infinite Beauty. You're going to have a phenomenal experience. This is mostly self-study. So it's not going to require that you like show up to calls at a certain time. I might do 1 or 2 live calls. I'm still deciding about that, but everything is already there for you. It's already all created, and you can take it at your own pace. The 28 days you need to do consecutively. But the course part of this, if you decide you want to do the whole course, the course part, you can take your time with it. There's 4 modules. I can do this on your own time because I know we're all so busy, right? We don't necessarily have time to join calls at a specific time. This is mostly self-study, but the reason that you should join it now versus next month is that it's like 33% off when I offer these live. But it is straight magic. It is straight magic. I've been doing it in preparation for launching this again, and I'm just, every year that I do it, I'm just like, damn, this is so good. It's so good. The formulation of the ceremony is just ingenious. It's really, really powerful. So basically what I can guarantee after you do the ceremony, if you put yourself into it, if you really give it your all, you are going to see results. You are going to feel different mentally. You're going to feel different physically. You're going to feel different emotionally. You're going to experience yourself going into a deeper frequency of your feminine essence. And it's going to be beautiful. It also might be fucking confronting and triggering. And I can promise you that if you actually really give it your all to the ceremony, you're going to match the reviews that everybody else has that are saying, this is phenomenal. I feel like I'm in my goddess energy. Like, I've done this ceremony multiple times and it just keeps deepening and I want to keep doing it and keep doing it. Everybody's reviews are the same. You're not going to be any different. You're going to love it. I promise you. And if it's really confronting for you, good. That means you're just going to have a bigger transformation, truly. And the first time I did it, a lot of the different aspects were really confronting for me, but it opened me up in such a way that I hadn't been opened before. So anyways, Infinite Beauty is amazing. If you want to join now, it's open all year long. However, when I launch it live in the spring, I always give a really big discount because I want you to join in the spring because it's the best time for us to do it. Like, in terms of the seasonal cycles, this is the best time really for you to do it. But you have access forever. Every time, if you join the full course, you'll have access forever. If you join just the ceremony, you'll just receive the ceremony. But if you join the whole course, you're going to get every single new edition I do when I add new Akashic journeys. There's a phenomenal Akashic journey in there that, like, I listened to a couple weeks ago in preparation. I'm just like, holy fuck. Like I forgot how great this one is. It's genuinely so good. One of my favorite that I've ever led, if not my absolute favorite. So anywho, that's it. You can join. The doors close on Sunday with that discount. And it'll be closed for the next month while we're going through it live. And we're going to start on Monday. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you have, please leave a comment, share it with your friends if you think that this would be beneficial for them or supportive or helpful. And please like this video. If you ever watch a video of mine, please like it if you enjoyed it, because that's how more people can find my work. I'm doing all this stuff for free, sharing all of this just on my own time. So if you can just give me a thumbs up, leave a little comment, that would be awesome. I also love reading your comments because you guys are all really smart and intelligent and have beautiful perspectives, and I really like hearing them. So, okay, that's all. I'll have the link for Infinite Beauty down in the comments if you would like to join. And if you have any questions, email me, aliwilkinsabundance@gmail.com. Okay, I'll see you guys next week for another video on a different topic. I hope you've enjoyed this. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.